on him. Kill him. If you can see him, kill him. Oh, yeah. You got him, Let's go, buddy.
All right, we got a lot to talk about today. It's turkey season in Alabama. We're having a great time. We're just having, well, some of us are having a great time. We're going to get to all that. Thomas Myers, how are you doing?
Doing good.
Little
If I'm on the
brother.
show, it means something good happened. So, I'm doing pretty good.
Jacob, you all right? You doing okay?
No, it's the world is ending as of right now. So.
All right,
We
so
have
everyone
one-
knows what we're about to talk about at this point. Turkey season opened in Alabama this week. We're fresh off of our Florida hunt, which we called it. That's kind of like our tune-up hunt, where that's the first time we went and hunted Osceolas. But one thing I was telling Jacob is I like when we go out of state before Alabama opens, whether we're bow hunting or turkey hunting or whatever, because you kind of like get all the cobwebs out, and then you just hit the ground running when Bama opens, and usually that works out pretty good. But anyways, all right. How do we want to get into this, boys? How do we want to get into this?
Talk about the past first, and then today. Like
I don't have a lot to add to this conversation. I hunted on opening day, should have killed a turkey, didn't, and I haven't really hunted since then because I just got LASIK eye surgery.
he can see.
I can see now. Hey, if anybody out there's thinking about getting LASIK, do it. Best money I ever spent. Super easy. Like didn't even last 10 minutes. If you ever got a filling is significantly more uncomfortable than LASIK. Like getting a dentist to do a filling, it was super easy. So, anyways,
Never had cavities.
You don't need to.
Never had cavities. I don't know what that feels like.
Me either.
Never had a good feeling.
I've had a couple.
You nasty, bro. You don't even brush your teeth. Oh,
Just gum.
yeah.
Jay just throws in Zens and calls it good.
He's like, I threw in a mint.
Yeah.
A mint.
We're good to
on
go. That's all you need.
A mint nicotine pouch. He's like, it's basically like brushing your teeth.
Never said that.
He's like, yeah, it rubs up against your tooth while you're, switching it around to different sides of your mouth.
It's just like mouthwash.
That's why you have two up top, two down low.
That's terrible. That's
Yeah,
terrible.
but no. So open today. So yeah, me and Thomas. It's kind of fun, kind of giving a little update so far in the season because we've had some pretty interesting hunts. Me and Thomas, you hunted opening day, and the property we hunted is first off, it's really interesting because I don't have any past experience there. You don't have any past experience. Andrew's never even been there. Mm-hmm. So going down there, we pre-scouted. I pre-scouted, kind of found some sign, but one thing we didn't realize was some of the other guys hunting the property, it was kind of a free-for-all. So ended up not getting to go really anywhere I wanted to go. It was pretty much like the fifth option is where we ended up going. And, of course, well, I say of course, but you get down there a little late. That's one thing I've noticed, not about being late, but like getting out and going hunting, whether you're hunting public land, whether you're hunting a hunting club, a lease, you better be there pretty early if there's some serious turkey hunters on there.
Oh, yeah, dude. At my club, actually, on the second day of season this year, I got out there, and the two guys, we're supposed to sign in the time that we get in and out. There's two guys that got out there before me. I got out there at 3:30.
And they were before you.
On a hunting club?
They signed in at 2 and 2:30. And neither, I live 5 minutes from the club. They don't.
Oh, they put it down the night before.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No, bro, they were in there. I drove past one of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
No.
dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Getting after.
On a hunting club. So
That's wild.
we experienced the same thing open day.
Yeah.
But that hunt was pretty interesting because some of the other guys going on that property were kind of going in pretty deep. They wanted to kind of like check out the backside of the property, and I kind of had told you I wanted to kind of go in and go like 400 or 500 yards in and listen, kind of get up on Big Ridge and just listen and see what we can hear. It ended up, the interesting thing was the birds that we did hear. We heard two birds that morning, two gobblers. They were between us and the road,
Yeah.
which I personally love that because I'm like, all these other guys on the place, they're all going deep, and I'm like, these birds are right here. Nobody's messing with them because everybody's trying to go half a mile to a mile in. So it's like we didn't have to worry about dealing with that. One thing I'll say this about hunting with Thomas, or hunting with you. You just got into self-filming, okay? Got your whole camera situation. I didn't you said you were going to film some stuff. We get out at the, like, he ends up pulling up, okay? I get out of my truck, and he starts grabbing all this stuff. And he doesn't really have a real turkey vest, first off, okay? He's using an upland vest of mine that's kind of pretty small. And, dude, he gets out this giant tripod and big old, I don't know, you didn't have your big lens on there, but you brought your extra lenses, or extra lens with us. And he has all this camera stuff, and he's carrying a shotgun. So he's got big camera mounted to the tripod over one shoulder, shotgun over the other shoulder.
Dude,
he has no hands.
It was not that bad.
No, but it was just, it looked intense. I was like, that looks miserable.
But the tripod's what, 3 pounds, something like that. Camera and the lens,
6.
not the little one, but yeah, 5, 6.
Yeah.
And then the shotgun, that's why you buy a light shotgun. You can just switch it back and forth.
And over and under.
Yeah.
Pop that sucker open, sitting on my shoulder, just kind of stays there.
I was ready to go. Jacob told me before, because I said I called him the night before because I went and listened. Mm-hmm. I was like, just so you know, I'm bringing my camera. He was like, leave your camera and bring your gun. We're here to kill. I was like, well, we're gonna film it and kill, I guess. So
Why are you so into self-filming all of a sudden?
I don't know. Well, I've always since even high school, I did try to get into the fishing filming. Which that was
I forgot about
Crank
that.
this out.
Yeah, Crank the South.
Yeah,
don't look up that YouTube page.
Dude, look it up. Everyone
There's like probably 7 videos on there.
Everyone goes to
audio trash. It was like on the old like GoPro 2s or whatever. Anyways, yeah. So and then recently I wanted to get more into it, and since we just had a kid, it kind of gave me a reason to allow Bella to allow me to buy a camera, because I was like, we're gonna take pictures of Bo. Might as well.
That's why you had the kid, so you had a good excuse to
Exactly.
get an expensive
It's a win-win. Win.
4D chess.
Yeah. So, anyways, and then I wanted just to film hunts. So I think it's pretty cool.
Hey man, more power to you. If you enjoy it,
Yeah.
you know.
So far, it hasn't been that bad. I'm now today I towed it around with the 7200 lens on it. That sucker got a little sore.
Oh yeah, the bazooka lens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucker's heavy.
But kind of going back to it, so Thomas brought all the camera equipment, and I did tell him the night before, like, leave it at home. Let's go kill a turkey.
Exactly, word for word. That's
And
what it said.
like once we kill a couple, then you can film a little bit. Like not saying pressure off, but like let's get the ball rolling and then worry about filming. Because I'm just sitting there thinking, like Thomas have his tripod and everything. Turkey comes in, and you can't move you can't really move. I mean, in that circumstance, and I'm like, I don't want him to miss off, or I can't talk, miss an opportunity because the turkey like sees him moving the camera. Or if he's filming me, the same reason. Come to find out, I don't need excuses. I mean, I am my own excuse. But yeah, he brought it. But we went in there and ended up listening, got on a little food plot and listened from this ridge. And had 2 birds gobbled back towards the truck. And that's when I was pretty excited. Because I went out there the day before, didn't hear anything. I couldn't roost because I couldn't stay down there. I had to leave and come back and get some stuff done before it got dark. But Thomas went down there and had a couple other guys that we knew that were on the property hunting. Nobody heard anything except I think Stuart heard one,
Jacob.
and Jacob heard one that evening. But yeah, dude. I mean, first off, I'll say this: hearing the first gobbles in Alabama, because like we went to Florida, I heard one gobble the whole time in Florida, for like 6 days. You heard one. That was it the whole time.
I heard 2.
You heard 2.
Yeah, but they were both that first night.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, okay. And then coming back here, I'm like, dude, I just want to get into gobbling turkeys. And
I even asked you the night before. I was like, "Are we sure there's turkeys out here?" Because we had never been there, and I didn't hear any. And then obviously that night, Stuart and them did hear one. I was like, "Okay, that gives us a little confidence."
Yeah, that's fun getting like kind of the invite to go down. It's like you don't really know what you're going to get into. I'm like, I've heard there's turkeys. You know, I know another guy killed a bird on that place, but. Yeah, just didn't know. I mean, it found very little sign, just a little bit of sign on the place. But we ended up hunting those birds all morning, and I'll kind of cut to the chase because that wasn't the exciting thing. They ended up flying over the road, get onto another piece of private right there, and they were just gone. Like they wouldn't do anything. They'd gobble a little bit. One of them gobbled a good bit all the way up to 10 o'clock. He'd gobble like, say a good bit. Every 20 minutes he'd gobble just to like let you know he ain't coming.
Just teasing you a little bit.
Yeah, just teasing you like, oh, come on, come back over to our side. Yeah. And never would happen. The next day I couldn't hunt.
Yeah.
Had some stuff come up, and you actually went down there. I don't really remember what all happened.
Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of time to hunt that morning, but I wanted to go back out to basically where we finished the hunt on Tuesday, and got set up where we kind of thought they went to roost the night before that, but it was really a really short hunt, and I didn't stay long. But I did hear 4 or 5 gobblers that morning, but they were all on the other private, so
yeah.
Kind of ended that morning. Then I left to go have a meeting. So,
and that's the frustrating thing, by the way, when you're not on like a very big property. Like it's one thing like you're on like a huge piece of, even I guess some real big piece of private land, like over 5,000 acres, or if you're on like a big piece of public land that like okay, you don't hear one. I can go further in and try to find some. It seemed like all those birds were like right on the property line. Like they wanted to be right on the property line. And they fly down, and it was like a 50-50 chance if they
side they're gonna be
stayed on the property we had or we could hunt on, or if they go over to the neighbors.
Yeah.
And they loved the neighbors. Neighbors had way better food plots, I guess.
If you look on the maps, it's like if I was a turkey, that's where I would want to be.
Yeah. It's like go knock on a door and try to get permission, and it ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
That third morning, though, that's when, or maybe third or fourth morning. No, it would be the third morning. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No,
Yeah.
Friday. Because you couldn't hunt Thursday. I couldn't hunt Thursday either. Had some stuff come up, and then you hunted Friday.
Yeah.
I couldn't make it.
Yeah.
You called me pretty late at night, and I just didn't even answer. I'm like, I
knew he saw my call, and I was like,
Ignore.
He ain't going.
Yep.
Yeah. So I decided
defeated.
I was like, I'm going to sneak back out there again Friday, and woke up earlier than obviously the first morning because I was late, and the second morning earlier than that because I just wanted to get to this specific area before anyone else because there was whoever was hunting the property a lot of pressure. So got out there in my car by 3:30 at the gate I wanted to park at. And I sat there till 5:30 and ended up getting out 5:30. And here comes a truck. And there's only one place to park in that whole piece where I was about to hunt. And here comes a truck down, and I'm walking down the road. I'm like, he's not going to stop. And that sucker just kept on going past me to probably another 150 yards.
You drive your car with that mud hole?
Yeah, could not get my car.
What are you hunting out of?
Ford Taurus.
Let's go.
Don't give it away what color there because people be looking for it. Just kidding. No, but I parked before this giant mud hole because I was like, there's no way this car's going through.
Not with that attitude.
And the dude,
son.
when he passed me, he was like, oh, what an idiot. Can't get through this big old mud hole.
Dude, you get going fast. You skip across it like a
Like a
rock.
I got out of my car and I walked around and I was like, if I hit it just right.
Oh my gosh. Hit it the company car, baby.
Yeah. So anyway, so I was walking. He went on by and got out of his truck. And anyway, so we went down. I talked to the gentleman. We kind of figured out what we were going to do. And this area, Stewart actually heard a bunch of birds in there the day before. So I went in there, got set up probably within 500 yards from this creek. That way I could hear like basically everything in this area, and the other dude went further north. So I sat there before 6 o'clock and shooting. I mean,
Sunrise is at about 6:30.
6:30. So 6 o'clock you start,
Yeah.
seeing a little bit. Probably 5:50. I hear one gobble towards the creek, and I'm like, he's probably 500 yards and newbie still, right? I have not turkey hunted much at all. Last year, I had my guide with me the whole time. I would just do what he said, basically. So this is the first time turkey hunting where I'm making my own decisions. So I was like, I heard that one gobble. I waited there. I was like, if I hear him gobble again, I'm just going to start slowly working towards him. He gobbles again probably 30 seconds later, and it's still before 6. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to start going. Because I kind of had a good idea where he was at. So I start making the track, cut the distance in half, and now I hear, go, go, go. like 3 of them in the same general area, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep on going. Because
Man, I didn't know what you were doing there for a minute. I didn't know if that was supposed to be a gobble.
yeah. Anyway, so I keep on moving.
We've had too many guys lately on the podcast who are really good at gobbling.
Yeah.
And then Thomas comes in here and hits us with that.
You can tell the newbie is out. Yeah, not these vets. But anyways, I keep going, and at this point, I'm within probably 150 yards from the creek now, 100 yards. And at this point, I realize that they're on the opposite side of the creek. So I make my way to where it drops a little bit to the creek bottom, where it flattens out. And I'm sitting up on this high side. And I mean, they are no joke, the most gobbles I've ever heard in a morning. Like boom, 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 boom. And then there was probably a bird over here, and then 2 back to the left.
Dang, dude.
But all on the other side of the creek. So I was like,
And it's a big creek. Like, you'd have to swim the creek.
right. So at this point, I'm like, Stuart did actually say that they flew across to him the day before. So I was like, maybe they will, maybe they won't. So I just shut up until I can tell they're still basically on the roost. So I do a little soft calling, and they're answering, but they're not moving. So what does that tell you? Probably still on the roost? We thinking they're fly down? Anyways, so they fly down. They kind of shut up. 2 birds to my left now, still on the other side of the creek, start firing off. And at this point, it's probably 6:30, probably 6:45, 7. Still weekday. I got to go to work. I got to leave by 9. Oh no, I had to leave by 8:15. So I was like, I'm gonna be aggressive as crap, which paid off. But so they gobble probably 6:45, almost 7, and they're working down the opposite side of the creek from what it sounds like. So I try to make a move to the creek to pull them back, but they keep going away from me. So I'm assuming they had hens with them. So probably 7:15 now. I make a giant loop around them, and they shut up now. 7:30, shut up. Make a giant loop around them, and I lost my striker for my slate call. So at this point, I'm using a mouth call, and it does not sound good. I'm surprised these turkeys answered me. So I make a giant loop, probably 300 yards, 400 yards around, and I do this awful yelp mouth call, and they hammer within 100 yards on my side of the creek. I'm like, oh, I'm my camera in one hand, gun in the other. I'm standing in the middle of this little green field, and I run to the tree line, get set up, put the camera down and get the gun up, and I'm sitting there all slouched, and I'm like, oh my God, this is about to happen. Because the way they gobbled, I was like, it reminded me just of the burn bird. Mm-hmm. Like, they're coming. Yeah, cut you off.
Cut you off, and they're coming for sure.
Right. So I get set up, and I wait a couple minutes. They don't gobble again by themselves. So I do another yelp. They answer right away. They're working left. And it was actually bow, bow. So there's 2 of them real close to each other. And these birds, I could tell they were coming, but the way they kept swinging to my left, I was like, and it was thick as crap. And you saw on the video, I mean, there's like vines, all kinds of crap in front of me. So my thought is they're going to keep swinging left, and I shut up again. 5 minutes go by, and they're probably the last gobble was probably 80 to 100 yards, somewhere in between. I call again, and then now they're bow, bow, within 50 yards. And in the video, Jacob, as you saw, you kind of saw the bird in the video, but I never saw him, and I called actually again, and you can see the bird pick his head up through all that thick
You
stuff.
didn't see him when he was up
No,
there?
that's why I called again. 'Cause I didn't see it.
I was wondering when I watched that because you kept calling. I was like, he's like right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked out.
Right.
I feel like the story changed a little bit.
No, that's actually.
I thought you, when he turned to walk away, is when he called back at him.
Well, I did that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm talking about before all that. Remember, anyways.
So he walked up on you and you didn't see him and you didn't know until after you watched the video?
technically, yeah. So I called, they gobbled, and I couldn't see him where he gobbled, so I just did like 2 quick bop bop. And
Yelps?
yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, and so I didn't see him through all the thick crap. So I did it again, but in the video you can actually see him. He's already there.
Hey, I don't blame you. Similar situation happened to me today. You have a bunch of trees and a bunch of stuff like that, and it's like if you just like were shifted, like your camera was just, I guess, on the right hand side of you,
Yeah.
a foot to your right, you could see him.
Yeah.
But like where you were sitting, it's
Right.
like you just couldn't see him
Yeah.
through all that stuff.
You couldn't see him. So the one gobbler is I never even saw him coming through, and the one I actually killed, you hear him, and he's strutting through this thick viney crap. And I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna work in perfectly. Here we go. I'm shaking. You can hear me like hyperventilate.
Turkey's like, man, that hen sounds weird.
What's wrong with that hen?
Yeah, and he's working
She's hot
back.
and heavy.
Yeah, he's like, oh, she's breathing heavy.
Yeah, that's a big girl I'm about to go get. Nah, but that one was at 30 yards strutting, and he's working right, and then he works back to the left, and he gets to a gap where if you would have stopped him quick enough, you had a clear shot. But I mean, it was probably only a foot wide between 2 trees. So I didn't shoot him through all that, and he does see something he doesn't like. It probably was the camera, or maybe I shifted or something, but he picks his head up, and he doesn't putt or anything. He just kind of turns back around slowly and just works his way back to the left where the other gobbler is. And I'm like,
Did you ever see the other gobbler?
I saw him. There was a fire break where I actually shot the bird at, where he already went through it. So they might have swung all the way around, but it kind of just sounded like they were going back. But anyway, so as he works off, and I lose him. I couldn't see him. I was like, well, he's probably going to go straight through that same fire break that the first one did. So I get shifted, and I'm moving, and I get up, and he's walking, just not doing much. And he stops, and I'm like, well, it's either now or never.
Stops in the open?
Stops in the open, but there's a bunch of stuff in between me and probably within 5 yards from me. So I shoot just down, bang, drops, and I pick up the camera, gun, I'm running, just running straight at him, and I'm like, oh, and then I see the other one working, and standing there, and I was like, is that mine? And then I look to the right, and I see mine flopping. So the other one takes off, flies away.
Every time that's happened to me, it's the turkey I shot at. It's still standing there. I've never had that happen. So just to put that out there, every time I shoot, I'm like, oh, there was 2 of them. Nope, that was the one I shot at. Then he flies off every single time.
Little
Fast forward
foreshadowing
today.
there.
Yeah, keep going.
Anyways, yeah, so I run up on him, I grab him. I'm saying, let's go. I was so hyped up. Come on. I was so many emotions and so excited to be able to not only get on a bird, but to kill my first bird solo.
Yeah.
Was really awesome.
Yeah, first solo one. That's a big accomplishment.
Nice.
The Lord was with me that day because the calling and the aggressiveness I did was...
When you told me that you lost your striker, I'm like, oh, he's got another striker. Then I watched the video when you called to him the first time and he gobbled, and I'm like,
that hen.
it works. I mean,
Hey, we talked about it last week. Like, you don't have to be a great caller. Dude, your call sounded like a turkey choking on a rubber chicken.
It was so bad. So bad.
I mean, it was like, Eddie Salter was talking about
Flat tongue,
where people are like, kick, kick, kick. It was kind of like that.
I think
but
that's
it
what I
worked.
have.
It worked.
That's definitely what
but hey,
I did.
listen. I'll tell you one thing. By doing that, all the other guys hunting the property, they probably don't sound like that. Maybe a little bit better with mouth call. So that was the one hen that sounded.
It threw them off.
They're like, no way, that's a guy.
This is a nasty smoking hen, dude. I
She's
mean,
been up there smoking in palm moss.
That's exactly what they thought.
Oh my gosh.
like I can't resist that. Listen,
This is why I love turkey season. This is so fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun, dude.
Yeah.
It's just straight fun.
So that was basically the wrap of that hunt.
Yeah.
And that was exciting. But yeah, I got to work on either just get rid of the mouth calls or throw a couple extra strikers in there because
Well, you got a lot of windshield time at work. I mean, you travel.
I do.
Throw
Trust
that
me.
mouth call in.
Dude,
Dude, it just takes time.
Yeah.
You gotta try it.
Yeah.
I've been using a mouth call for like 14 years, and I'm still not that good on one. So,
Side note, I do a flat tongue, so maybe I need to fix that.
yeah, don't do that.
Okay. Yeah. 'Cause that's definitely the issue.
Yeah. All right. So
hold on.
by the way, is this video? Do you have it on YouTube? Because you filmed the whole thing.
It technically is on YouTube.
Can I link it? Can people watch it?
You can, but skip past the Yelps.
Okay, I'm gonna link it. You gotta say you have to make it public so people can see it.
What channel is it on?
Not Crank in the South.
What's it?
Not cranking.
Just Thomas Myers.
Thomas Myers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna link it. People are gonna watch this.
Okay.
20,000.
I'm gonna turn off the comments. Oh yeah.
Disable the comments. Smart.
Absolutely.
So, well, also, what did you learn from that experience? So that was like your first successful solo hunt. Because again, last year you hunted with me and you killed your 4 birds last year with me, and pretty much. I mean, I think you caught a little bit, but it was mostly me just calling. You just kind of sitting on the gun. But like, was there anything you learned last year you applied this year, or like what did you learn on a couple of solo hunts before you had this success?
Yeah. At least on this hunt, I'm not gonna lie, I did basically the opposite of what we did, but not because I wanted to, but because I felt like I needed to because I felt rushed because I was trying to leave by 8:15. So I was way more aggressive than we ever were last year. And then the calling, because I didn't have the slate call, I was using a mouth call when I actually was going after those 2 birds. I don't know how to do a soft yelp on a mouth call yet, so they do come off more aggressive or loud. So I wasn't able to implement the things that we did last year on this hunt, but it was a little bit different circumstance.
What about repositioning?
The repositioning?
Because we did that a couple times last year.
Yeah, and the good thing, the reason why the repositioning actually worked on this, because that creek that you do have to technically swim across if you wanted to, get across, it wrapped around. So since I knew they were on my side, I just went all the way around them because they were working straight down the creek. And that's kind of what my thought process was.
So you like got ahead of them, like they were walking and you just went and cut them off.
Correct.
Yeah.
Nice. That's the way to do it, man.
And I bring that up because I remember doing this early on, but we've had different podcast guests talk about like newer hunters will just like trail those turkeys. Like if they're walking away, they just follow them calling, which a lot of times is not going to work. Could have success with it.
Yeah.
Instead of just trying to make a big loop around them, and you kind of know what line of direction they're going, and then get where they're wanting to go, and then call. And then, like, you're already where the general area they're trying to get to anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot easier to call one in the direction he's already going.
Yeah.
Yep. Makes you feel good about yourself.
yeah.
Hey guys, Andrew here with an in the field tip. If you're looking to get more proficient with a mouth call specifically, I recommend going with a call like this. This is the KB hen from Houndstooth Game Calls, and the reason I say this is because of the cuts on this call. A lot of the bottom reeds are exposed. The bottom reeds are where you get your clean notes. So with a call like this that's cut and has a lot of those bottom reeds exposed, it's easier for you to channel your air and find where that clean note is to almost produce like a whistle or a squeak. And once you find that, there's the front end of your yelp. And then the top reed with the cut on it is where you get your rasp. So if you're trying to figure out how to do that clean 2-tone yelp, I recommend something like this, the KB hen, to get started. Find that high note, and then you'll be off and running. If you want to check out the KB hen and a bunch of other mouth calls, go to houndstoothgamecalls.com and you can use the promo code Southern25 for a discount. So outside of turkey calls and a shotgun itself, my favorite piece of gear I've ever bought when it comes to turkey hunting is a red dot sight. And my new favorite is the Vortex Viper enclosed red dot. So most of the time, I'm just using the 3 MOA dot. You know, I like just a clean single dot in my sight picture, nice and open sight picture. But I've already run into some situations this season where I'll actually switch to the reticle that is a 3 MOA dot with a 32 MOA circle around it. And the reason I like that reticle is because it allows me to see my nice little point of aim where I'm going to put that dot on the turkey's wattles, but also that circle is going to show me roughly where my pattern is going to go. And for me, it just makes it a little easier to visualize where my pattern is going through the woods, which helps me determine whether or not there's too much brush in front of me, or whether half my pattern's gonna catch something between me and the turkey that I don't want it to hit. So I really like that multi-reticle option, and I think you're gonna like it too. So to check it out, along with everything else that Vortex offers, head on over to vortexoptics.com, or you can just hit the link in the description of this show. So it might be the off season, but we're still always thinking about whitetails, and if you're looking to get more mobile this fall and you're looking at saddle setups, the two most common designs you're gonna see are a single panel design or a double panel design. They both have their advantages and disadvantages. A single panel design is going to be more comfortable right out of the box, while a double panel design is going to be much more adjustable and customizable to your fit. We always say on the podcast, saddles are kind of like boots. Different people are going to like different things. As a general rule of thumb, I found that heavier set guys typically like a single panel more than they like a double panel. But other than that, it's just really a matter of preference. I personally use both of these saddles. This is the Method 2 from Latitude, and this is the Lone Star from Latitude. I will say that the Method 2 is really nice because it's a two-panel design. It's almost like you have a built-in back band that'll take a little bit of pressure off your back when you're sitting down. But if you're just getting into saddle hunting and you want something that's extremely comfortable right out of the box, the Lone Star is going to be your go-to. It has an advanced hip pinch reduction system in it, so right out of the box, this is going to be very comfortable, and you're not going to have the hip pinch issues that a lot of people have when they first get into saddle hunting. So if you want to be more mobile this fall, check out latitudeoutdoors.com to see these two saddles and a bunch of other mobile hunting gear. We've enjoyed them a lot, and I think you're going to enjoy them too.
So me and Jacob hunted together. All these years of doing the podcast and everything, we've never killed a turkey sitting together. Ever.
Never.
Not one. We killed deer.
No, wait, not one?
Not one.
Not one.
Jacob has missed a whole bunch of turkeys in front of me.
Probably 11.
Probably not that many. He's missed
Last year
real,
we
though,
talked
4 or
about
5.
it and he counted them on one of the episodes.
Oh, the misses?
Yeah.
I mean, there's 3 in Oklahoma in one day.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, yeah, no, it might be.
He's in double digits. Let's just call it how it is.
I don't know if it's quite double digits.
Oh,
but it's definitely more than 6. It's definitely more than 6. So, but yeah, never
High score.
So we were trying to. These are misses, not kills. So
High score.
dude, we set out to break the curse. So like I mentioned, I got LASIK last week, and I was talking to the doctor. I'm like, can I shoot a gun right after I get this? He's like, oh yeah, you're good. And I'm like, okay. And that was like in my consult. And then when I went to go get the surgery, I was like, hey, like I asked you about the guns. Like my gun kicks like really hard because it's a 12 gauge turkey gun.
Yeah.
And like I don't know if he's a hunter or anything, but I explained it to him. I'm like, it's like a very hard recoiling gun. He's like, maybe give it a week or 2. And he's like, I would give it a week. FDA would probably say 2 weeks or whatever. So I was like, okay. So I was like, well, I'll just film Jacob and we'll just go, because he's filmed me opening week for a couple years. Yeah. So I'm like, I'll return a favor. I'll go film him, hopefully shoot one. And so I'm like having to wear my little safety glasses and everything in the woods, because if I get a stick in the eye, it'll peel my dang cornea off, apparently. So that would hurt. So I'm just following him around with the camera, and we went to the spot where you killed a bird last year. I think you killed 2 in there.
Yeah.
And so we just eased on up in there, and dude, it was a quiet morning, like super quiet. There wasn't anything going on, but like I feel like yesterday I got to experience Jacob's like his signature hunting style that he kind of developed last year, and that is walk 100 yards, sit down for 5 hours. That's pretty much it.
Hey, if you know there's turkeys in the area or have confidence turkeys in the area, you could do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, and it works. Me and Kyle were talking about it today, because jumping ahead a little bit, we were hunting with our buddy Kyle today, and he's like, he'll run and gun a lot more. Like, that's what we were doing today. We run and gun the entire time today. And he's like, we were talking about, like, finding, like, a hard gobbling turkey, kind of like what you did, Thomas. Like, sometimes you can walk in and kind of luck into that. But, Jacob, you were talking yesterday about how most of the birds you kill are, like, silent, or they come in silent or whatever. And it's like that. I feel like that style of hunting kind of lends itself to that, where you're just, like, real low-key. Yeah. Like, you're going to kill a lot of birds, but you're not always going to have just that loudmouth, like, in-your-face hunt. But
Thomas would say otherwise with a couple of his birds.
Well, I know, I'm saying, but out of 8 birds last year, that was one of them.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it was 1, 2, 3, at least 3 of them.
Yeah.
2 for sure.
2 for sure.
Okay, so 2 out of 8.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's like a super effective way of turkey hunting, though.
Yeah.
So we go in there, And what was your thought process for the whole thing?
The first day, right?
Yeah.
With you and me? Mm-hmm. I mean, just try to slip in because they roost on this ridge system, slip in. And if they're there, they're going to be on one of the 4 or 5 points. We're going to kind of get in there amongst them, listen. Hopefully hear one gobble. If so, know how to reposition on them and get set up. If we don't hear one gobble, it's not a huge big deal because again, one of the birds killed last year. It was a day they never gobbled. I just knew there was birds in there. Went in there and sat up and killed one at 8:30. So that was kind of the mindset. And I wanted just to stay in a very small area. Except I did want you to park at another gate. Mm-hmm. Just in case, if it's not going good, we could bounce to the other gate. But someone beat Andrew there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Were you closer or the forward one to the left?
Closer. And see, so this is the interesting thing. So open day on the public land side, public land season, I woke up at 1. No, was it 1? It was 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Because I'm like, nobody's beating me to this gate. Yeah. It is literally not going to happen.
We had that call the night before.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, I'm getting there at 1. I mean, I'm waking up at 1. I'm going to get there early, like stupid early. And that's exactly what I did. Like, I got there, I don't know, woke up, I let the dog out and everything, got there around 2:30, maybe.
And he's giving away the juice now because now people know exactly when he gets to a spot. So they're like,
try it.
Hunting on Jacob.
Have fun. Yeah. If you do that for multiple days.
If you get there at 1:30, you'd probably end up being friends with Jacob.
Yeah.
You'd probably be like, you're my kind of person.
Yeah.
And then staying up the entire time.
Staying up the whole, there was no naps. I took more naps in Florida than I haven't taken a single nap in Alabama yet. So it's been rough, but because the last 2 days I've got to combine, I don't know, I slept a couple hours in the truck at the gate this morning. Maybe combine 8.5 hours for 2 nights as of right now. So.
I don't know, I heard you took a big old long nap at the parents' house the other day. When was that?
No, that wasn't this part of the season. But anyway, so
opening day when I got out there was that guy at that gate. But then when I pulled up at Jacob, I was like, "Well, I'm just going to park across the road from you." And since you've already got the spot,
did you tell me that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
He's delirious.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, I'm just going to drive up this road and see who all's here," because I got there at probably 4:30.
Yeah.
And so 4:30 is usually when you get there that early, like he did, which I've done that plenty of times. Usually you'll get there might be a guy or two out there that you drive by, and then about 4:30, it's that's when people really start coming in. And so I was like, let's just see who's out here. And I drove a couple miles up the road, and I didn't see anybody else.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I came back and parked, and I didn't even have anyone drive by me for a while. I was starting to doze off before the first truck came by.
Yeah.
Which is kind of surprising.
Well, for the first truck for you, I had the first one came by me at 4:07. But he must have gone quite a bit further up than where you went because there was 2 that came through in the first 15 minutes of 4 o'clock.
And then 3 more came by.
And I didn't have anyone come by me.
Yeah.
But when I left,
there
was every single pull-off.
Well, I'm sure Saturday will be crazy because it's weird they open it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But
I mean, for a Tuesday, there's a decent number of people out there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we ease up in the woods and basically don't hear anything at all. And we ease up and we get on this ridge point because we got to get to the next stories. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna cut footage of this in because I was filming, so I got all this on camera. Well, we get on this little saddle, and let me tell you, it is a gun spot for deer season because we're sitting there and we hear something coming from behind us, and we're like, "Oh crap, is that turkeys?" And here comes 6 does. And they're just bombing through the woods, and they come running and they go right through this saddle that we're sitting on. And I'm like, I bet there's a guy over there somewhere. Someone's probably over there bumping those deer. Mm. And then, I don't know, a couple minutes later, here comes 4 more deer. Dang. 15 does came by in the course of an hour and a half. 15 does.
All running the same trail and came right through the saddle.
They all went right through the saddle. Could have killed every one of them.
And I killed a bird in that saddle last year.
Yeah.
So
we're sitting there. All these does come by. I'm like, man, there's got to be a guy over there. And Jacob gets out his little push button and yelps on it. And then a hen answers from back there. I'm like, that's
from
probably
where the does came from?
Yeah, from where the does came from. I'm like, I bet that's a guy. But it's kind of hard to tell because it was a guy. But he was a really good caller. He was really good on his call. And, dude, I don't know how long we sat there. When he yelped, and you yelped, he yelped, and then I think it was a real hen was down in the bottom.
Oh, you think that was the real hen?
Yeah, because I'll explain what I think happened.
Okay.
So I think it was a real hen down in the bottom.
Yeah.
And that turkey that we heard behind him, turkey/person, that guy, he kept moving down, and he was like, it sounded like they were going down this ridge point down towards that bottom. And how long were we sitting there before everything happened?
Not long. I mean,
Half an hour maybe?
half an hour from what?
Like from when we heard him calling to when we saw the turkey.
I don't know if it wasn't that long. I mean, maybe 15 minutes because he said that was the guy. That was the guy called, and then that one started cutting up down the bottom. And then once it started cutting up, I was like, that sounds actually kind of closer. It's just super, super loud echoing up. So I turned and get in position, and it wasn't a couple minutes, and Andrew's behind me on another tree. He has a different angle looking down through the timber. I've had some situations recently where trees are blocking my view for some reason, dude.
Yeah, dude, I'm sitting there, and that hen's like cutting up in the bottom, and we're looking down there, and I can see way down this little holler that goes down through the woods. And all of a sudden, there's this big beech tree down there, and I see a shadow coming out from behind the beech tree, and it's shaped like a turkey. I'm like, oh, there she is. I'm thinking it's a hen. And then I just see this big old fat gobbler just running, and he's like bouncing, dude. I see his beard just going. And I was like, gobbler running straight at us. And Jacob was like, what? I was like, gobbler running straight at us. And he gets turned, and dude, this turkey is literally running straight at us. I'm like,
Lying.
and this is like
Booking it.
10:30 something in the morning. Like we'd be sitting in there all morning, and dude, this thing comes running up, and I'm talking about. It is like the footage I always have wanted to capture on going on these hunts. Jacob's in the tree in front of me. He's like 5 feet in front of me, and I'm filming over the shoulder, like over the gun barrel, over the shoulder. You just see this turkey run into the frame, and I'll let you take it from here because this is your.
Well, so
story.
I didn't see him. I'm like, where's he at? Where's he at? And he's like, you see that big down log? I'm like, yeah. He's like, he's gonna come. Like, he's running right to it. He's gonna be coming right behind it. And so I'm like, that's all I can see is this big down log because there's all these big oak trees right in front of me, or not in front of me, but like 60 yards away. There's oak trees. And all of a sudden he pops out, and I see the red head. I don't see his beard at first. I'm like, is that a long beard? Because I'm like, I'm making sure it's not a Jake. And I'm looking.
I said gobbler. I saw his freaking beard.
He just got LASIK done. I don't know how good the surgery was, so I was like checking for myself.
I got hawk eyes now, son.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
incredible.
he had a beard because he was kind of far. For at least
Oh,
in
he
the
was
video.
he was over 100 when I first saw him, but I saw his beard swinging out in front of him.
He,
was
you had from 100 yards in to get
Yep.
your gun ready.
Yes, he did.
I had the gun ready, but
I would. You look. You just you sling it, and then if it's a Jake, blame it on Andrew.
Yeah, you could have blamed it on me. It's not like it's illegal to shoot a Jake.
yeah. Well,
I saw the beard swinging, dude.
anyways,
It's a gobbler.
I realize it's a long beard, and dude, it's quartering right towards us. I'm like, this dude's coming right. He's gonna be here at 25 steps. Well, all of a sudden he hits that gets behind that log, hits that log, and then he just cuts to our right. And I mean, this turkey is moving as fast as his little legs could take him. Okay,
Yeah, he's running.
I'm
He's
talking.
hauling.
I'm talking about this sucker was. I mean, in his past life was an Olympian. I mean, this dude was straight book.
Flying.
I'm talking, dude, like 200-meter dash flying, and I'm like, I see his beard and everything. I'm like, dude, that's a great bird. I get up on the gun and he's moving so fast.
He
and
couldn't find his red dot.
No, well, when he first.
Just say it.
Well, when he first popped out, I had to turn the brightness up on the red dot. I couldn't see the red dot because of the sun glare, but I see the red dot. But he's moving so fast. I'm like the other two birds I had missed, okay, last year, and the one in Florida none of them are running, but they're all like walking like left to right or right to left, okay.
Over under, baby.
Trust me, I tried that last year on the second one I missed last year, and it did not work. So I'm like, I see this. I'm like, clearly he's running from something. Like he's not coming to us. Like he's running past us at 40 yards, 35 yards. I'm just like, I'm not going to take the shot. So I got on. I was hoping he would stop, and he never stopped. I didn't even think about like trying to cluck. Hey, Andrew brought up. He's like, man, I should have clucked at him or something.
Well, I
don't
thought
think
about
he
it, dude.
would've stopped, though.
He
That's
got in like the wide open. Like we had this big wide open, and he was running. And I saw Jacob was on him, and I'm like, I didn't know if he was going to shoot him because he was tracking the bird with his gun. Like I was watching him track it, and I'm expecting him to shoot it any second. And I almost tried to like yelp at him, just be like, meow, meow, or something like that,
Yeah.
just to see if he would slow up. But I was like, it went through my head, and I was like, I'm not going to do that because if I scare this turkey and it runs off, Jacob is never going to let me hear the end of
The
it.
story would be told.
Because like we hadn't talked about it before, so I didn't want to just do it.
I never thought that would happen. I didn't
I'm
know
like
we
that.
were.
I'm the camera guy. I don't want to like. My job is to number one, not screw up the hunt, and number two, get it on film.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, so listen, I never thought we'd be hunting rutting turkeys. Okay, like dude, it was like hunting rutting deer. No, they,
bro, all those does came running through, and like I'm still like a little bit in deer mode in my brain, and every time they'd come running down the hill, I'd be like, "Is there a buck behind?"
yeah, that's
Get ready, get ready.
and that's how this turkey was, dude. Like he was a buck in the rut, dude. I'm talking booking it, like was not slowing down. Well, he ends up. I'm not gonna shoot at him. Like he's not stopping. He just goes over the top of the ridge. Come to find out, I didn't realize he had stopped at the top of the ridge. Next, it was above the saddle, and looked back down at or something. I never saw
Yeah, he
him.
did stop.
He had I had a bunch of like brush kind of in between.
you saw him?
Andrew did.
I did. But yeah, he stopped and looked down at Jacob, shifting around and getting something out of his vest. Because Jacob, the first thing he did is he reached and got his little flapping scratch out, and he started scratching. Seeing,
I thought about that, but like by the time he was cresting the ridge, and like I ended up standing up later. I'm like, I could have shot him if I stood up. I'd have to run up there and try to kill him. But again, not what I was looking for. Because I was going through my mind. I'm like, he's running so fast. I'm like, I'm probably gonna whiff on this. If I whiffed on the Florida turkey walking, I'm definitely whiffing on this sucker.
Dude, I was giving him hell because I'm like, with that gun, you've killed much smaller birds going way faster. You shot quail, you shot doves, you shot pheasant, you shot grouse with it.
And it's almost like more consistent the way he was running than if they were just walking. Because like he was just perfect, like
Yeah.
same speed. You didn't have to guess that.
That's tough. Well, I was telling him earlier, I'd be curious on other people's opinions on this, like in the comments. But one thing, I've shot a bunch of walking turkeys, and I don't like to actually track them. I like to get out ahead of them and let them walk into it, and then I shoot. And I usually,
You do that with deer though too. Right?
yeah, it hadn't worked out on the last couple deer I tried that on. But on the turkeys, I've never missed one like that. So,
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't like tracking them because I feel like when you track them like that, you almost always shoot behind them.
Yeah.
Because you're not swinging. It's not like wing shooting where you're swinging through them. Like if you're just trying to stay on them, like it's really hard to not shoot behind them when you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But it was a good call.
I didn't shoot. So, and then me and Andrew sitting there, I'm like, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen is a gobbler just come freaking running through at Mach,
Yeah.
whatever.
So what I think happened is I think that guy swung around and bumped it,
Yeah.
and it came running to us. Because
So
at first
what-
I'm like, Jacob had just called, and when he came running up there, because he was calling back at that hen in the bottom, and I was like, he's running to this call, and he called like really soft. I mean, just like he was calling with you. I mean, super soft.
Yeah.
And I was like, golly, he's like running into that.
Yeah.
No, he got bumped.
Yeah. So anyway, but that was a wrap. Left after that. And then we were talking to our buddy Kyle Sides. He ended up getting on a bunch of birds, had some close calls, ended up busting a huge flock of birds that he didn't know were all present in that spot. So we ended up texting last night, and he's like, hey, man, like we ought to go. Like if y'all don't have plans, we ought to go in there and hunt this big flock together. Like there's a couple longbeards in there. They got pretty good yesterday. So that's what we did today. And that was interesting because we kind of parked our trucks kind of different access points, all walked in together so we can kind of like get in this area. And we're walking in, we get into this area, and it's just like big rolling hills and like some ridge systems. And we get back in there and we get in this little creek bottom. We're like, hey, he's like, hey, we're, within a couple hundred yards probably where these birds, like at least were going yesterday. Like they kind of got down this bottom. We get down in there, all of a sudden, dude, we're walking, and a freaking turkey just takes off out of this tree, and you can see it like in like the haze, like not really moonlight, but like that the light color of the sky. Because it was getting probably 10 minutes before gray light.
Well, so when we were easing down there, we walked in the whole way with no headlamps or anything. Just kind of walked in there in the dark, and we got down this little creek bottom, and we busted a hen off the roof.
Yeah.
And we assumed it was a hen. I mean, it was
Super,
dark,
super small body though.
but I could see her against the night sky, and it was like a real small body. I'm like, it's probably a hen. Like, just didn't sound big, didn't look big. And dude, we sat there, and it was windy as crap. I didn't realize it was going to be that windy.
Yeah.
And dude, nothing kills my confidence like wind.
Yeah.
I hate it. I can't stand hunting in the wind.
I saw it yesterday. I looked at the weather and I was like, ooh. Because the day before was the complete opposite.
Yeah.
2 mile per hour.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like
dead.
overcast and windy this morning. I was like, man, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
But we ended up setting up for a little bit, and then, after fly down, Kyle was like, hey, let's get up and move. Like, we're not in the right spot. Ended up not going exactly where you wanted to go. And so hit this other terrain, get up on this next ridge and kind of swing around. We ended up doing that. And Kyle's got an excellent natural voice owl hoot. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
I've heard him do crow call, but I haven't heard him do it in a while. So I don't have a good reference on it. But owl hoot, fantastic. So we ended up going up this we go up this drainage off the creek. And we get maybe halfway up it. And then he owl hoots. And dude, this bird just cuts, like, just gobbles. And I'm like, first when he gobbles, I'm like, I got a little excited. First I got a little excited. But also, when he gobbled, I was like, especially with how high the winds were, I was like, he's not that far.
Oh, yeah.
Like, within like a couple hundred yards probably, if not closer. Just because like how easy you could hear it. But Andrew was like running the camera, and we kind of hightail it up there. We end up getting to the top of the ridge.
Yeah.
And there's like this like a low spot going through the ridge, and we start walking through it and kind of slipping up because we're like, oh, he's in this next little bottom, like we're gonna ease through here. And that's when it got really interesting.
Yeah, because I caught up with Kyle, and we were talking, we were saying something about the gobble, and I was like, hey, he's probably like close out here, because when he hooted and the turkey gobbled, we were below the turkey, like we were down in the bottom, and he gobbled from up on a ridge. I'm like, I don't think he's in that next bottom. I bet he's on top of that little ridge. And then when we eased up there, he hooted again when we were in that little low spot, and this bird hammered it. I have to look. I'm going to cut footage into this podcast so the listeners and viewers will get to hear it and see it. But dude, that thing hammered, and we're all standing there. And Kyle man, I wish he could have made it to this podcast. It would have been so fun. He went full Elmer Fudd. Yeah, dude. He got down and he started like bow-legging it.
Well, like
looking for a treat.
Well, like, he drops to a knee, throws his mask on, and then starts like, Elmer
and
Fudd
then he stops, and then I look back at you and look back at him. And we kind of regroup, and you were like, hey, we need to back up. This turkey's like right here.
Yeah.
No, he ran forward, but there was like no tree.
Yeah, there's like nothing.
There was nothing.
There's
Dude, that
nothing.
turkey was probably 60 yards over the lip. I mean, if you had walked up to the top of that low spot, you probably would have seen that turkey.
Yeah.
I mean, he was right.
And I was like,
there.
we need to back up, get on the back side of this ridge, and then grab a tree so we can call him over the top of it and shoot the crest of the ridge.
Yeah, this is a great case of why it's nice to have a good locator call, whether you're using an owl hooter from the store or a crow caller, or if you do it natural voice or whatever, because like that turkey just gobbled at a hoot. It wasn't a turkey call, so we didn't have to worry about him coming to us or anything like that. Because like I always we did a lot of walking and calling today, which I like doing, but also I kind of hate doing it at the same time. Because it's like if one doesn't gobble and he starts walking to you, you're going to bust him. And then if one does gobble, you just got to like grab a tree. Like you got to hit the deck, if they're that close. So we back up maybe 75 yards and get basically at the bottom of the hill looking up the hill. Like the hill kind of rolls up gently and then crests off.
Yep.
And we're at the bottom looking up. And it actually set up really good because it's like if he wants to come look down here, he's got to peek over the top and we'll see him. And it's in a burn. And there's a lot of little saplings that are burned up. And once you actually sit on the ground, they're kind of thick. Like when you're standing up, it doesn't look like much cover, but when you sit down, it's hard to see through. So we're like, I think this is going to work. So Jacob, and also there's another bird hammering a couple hundred yards away, like a different turkey. And so Jacob faces kind of in that direction. And then Kyle, there's like this big old burned oak tree with a big base to it. Yeah. That's like concave. It was just perfect. And Kyle sat up against that. I'm like, hey, scoot over. I'm just going to sit with you. And so I sat, shoulder to shoulder with Kyle. And man, we all get set up. We're all like, good to go. And he yelps a couple times, nothing. Yelps a couple more times, nothing. And he yelped one more time, and it got kind of loud. He's like, I know he heard that. I was like, just give him a second. Because again, this bird is right there. He's like right over the hill. And we sat there. I'll have to look at the footage to see how long it was. Maybe 2 or 3 minutes, maybe. And I heard what I thought was a spit. I didn't hear a drum, but I heard, and I'm like, oh, was that the turkey? And about that time, like Kyle's sitting here like this, and about that time he's like, I see him. And he just like shifts over real hard. And he's like, are you on him? I'm like, shoot him. Just shoot him. Don't worry about me. And I can just barely see the turkey's head. And then he steps out from behind this big pine tree, and Kyle just...
You own him. Kill him. If you can see him, kill him. Not yet. You got him. You got him, Cody. Let's go, buddy. Six, 4. You got time to go to Waffle House, boy. Got time to go find y'all some turkey. Lord, thank you, Lord. That other bird was a big bird, too.
I mean, later. I mean, killed
Stone
3 saplings, killed the turkey, killed everything. Like, he
Dude had to play
stoned it.
football in high school or something because he was running like an Oklahoma drill, getting up so quick.
As a true turkey hunter, man.
Yeah.
He gets up. And when he shot, a different turkey flew. There was actually 2 gobblers walking in. And there was kind of that oh crap moment for just a second when I saw that one fly. Because, dude, he stoned that bird. And exactly how we hoped it would happen. They just peeked over the hill. You can only see, like, from the beard up on that bird. So when he shot it, I mean, just graveyard dead. The thing just fell over and was dead. So it wasn't flopping. So I'm not seeing any flopping, and I see a turkey fly. I was like, and I saw the sapling between us and the turkey explode. I was like, oh, no.
Well, see, I saw that too, because so I'm looking like towards you, Thomas. Okay.
Yeah.
The birds are gobbling up here, but I'm kind of covering the backside because I was like, Kyle can shoot everything right here to my left up the hill, and I'm kind of like watching the corner of the hill. When I didn't know they saw, I heard them whisper something. I'm sitting there. And I hear I hear something. I'm like, what was that? And I kind of like start to like glance over real slowly, and it's boom. And I'm like, oh my god! Like, did not know the birds were there because again, I was kind of covering the backside of it. And dude, I get up. And when I get up, they are halfway to the bird. Okay, dude, they are halfway to the bird, and like I see them get halfway to the bird, and all of a sudden I see this turkey, this gobbler, fly that little low spot to the other side. I'm like, and I see like Kyle grab his gun real quick, and then like Andrea looks over, and they put the gun down and keep going, and they're like, oh, you killed him, and I see the gobbler, he lands there, and he's probably right at gun range. He's probably like 50 yards.
The other one?
Jacob thought about
dude,
it.
he's like, dude, he's like standing there, and I'm like,
I didn't realize he just stood there.
oh, he just stood there for a second, and I'm like,
should have smoked him.
Well,
what are you doing?
dude, that's not the way I want to kill the turkey. Like,
Boom, boom.
You,
But listen,
you don't want to kill the turkey, have him hammer at 50 yards, and then walk in with his buddy and double?
I don't know.
That's not how you want to kill a turkey.
dude, so he gets, and again, I'm so worried. I missed so many birds. Again, last 7-8 years, overestimating or underestimating how far they are. Oh, really? Anyways, but he stood there, and I like pulled the gun up. I'm like, I'm not gonna shoot the turkey. Like, let's go up here and get this bird. And went up there.
Oh, I
and
didn't know
was
he
too
did
high.
that.
Yeah, I like got the gun up, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna shoot it. Keep going.
So like the direction he shot from the
Straight uphill.
Instagram video, the other bird flew
To the left.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like down the ridge, like lengthwise down the ridge.
Yeah, dude. He's a great bird, too.
Man, that wasn't the only bird you saw fly away that day.
Oh.
Oh no.
Tom. What's wrong with you? So we celebrate, take pictures and everything. Well, while I'm taking pictures of Kyle with his turkey, that other bird, not the one that flew off when he shot, but the other one that was gobbling like 200 yards away, he gobbled again. And so we're like, let's go get him. And that ends up being like 2 hours of walking and calling. Never could find him. Found his tracks where he was walking down a road and just never could catch back up with him. We were walking and Jacob caught a whiff of cigarette smoke. So there's some other guys somewhere in there. And so we're like, hey, let's just back out of here because there's somebody working this. So never got back on him. Ended up walking all over creation.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Get back to the truck.
walked.
10 o'clock, 10:30. I think it was like 10 o'clock. We got back. I was like, man, it's earlier than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Killed
Killed the turkey at 6:40 a.m.
Yep.
It's actually a little bit earlier than that. It was like 6:35 maybe.
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean early. And then we walked until 10 just trying to strike one, never could.
Yep. But Kyle was like, hey, I got another spot we can go to. Like he's like, I'm very confident there's a bird there. We probably can strike him. I'm like, all right, cool. We drive to that spot. Never been to this part of the piece of public. go to that spot. We hop out, and like he was kind of explaining to us, like getting down this creek drainage. He's like, they get down this creek drainage, tight little creek drainage. Like, we can get down there and work down the drainage, calling or locate or call or try to strike one. So we do end up doing that.
It's a little hellhole, too.
It's a dude.
I'm talking about you bomb off. Like, you get to the bottom and you look back up and you're like, oh, God.
It's so steep. So steep.
It's
And,
like, busting butts going down the hill. I mean, steep.
Yeah.
It reminded me of North Carolina, actually. When we were going down that really, really steep hill, I was like, yeah, this is like North Carolina.
Yep. But we ended up finally getting down there, and dude, dude, it's like 11 o'clock now, like 11:15. I am cooking. Like it got up to like 85 today or something like that.
Yeah.
Sunny. Now the wind was blowing kind of off and on. Like it'd blow real hard and also it'd stop for a little bit, especially you got down to the bottom. But like wouldn't blow that much. Dude, I am my face. There ain't nothing red in
what
here.
a turkey's head looks like when he's just chill and he's just hanging out, like it's just a red head.
Yeah.
That's what
how-
Jacob's face looked like. Or when you scare one,
Uncle
like
Red.
when their head turns red when you scare it, that's what his face looked
Dude,
like.
I was cooking.
I mean,
Cook.
red.
You're going downhill though.
Dude, no, but
What about uphill?
No, hold on. But that's the thing. We ended up taking the wrong ridge to get down, and Kyle's like,
Oh yeah.
he's like, I hate to do this to you guys, but we're on the wrong ridge. We are on that ridge.
Oh, dude, these ridges are like knives, like knife edge ridges going down, and it's like, dude, I don't know how far it is to the bottom, but while we were like halfway down that ridge, I was like, man, it'd be nice to have like a little bridge where you could just walk straight across the other side.
Zip line.
And dude, we get down and we're like in the bottom. To give you an idea of how steep it is, we're on like the bottom fifth, right, of this little valley, and a tree has fallen to the other side, and you could walk across that tree and not do that bottom fifth. If you were to do that, if you were to fall off, you'd like break your leg. I mean, it was that high up.
Dang.
And so, dude, I mean, it was steep, and yeah, we just had to go straight down, straight up the. He's like, "I'm sorry guys, y'all are gonna hate me."
That's fine.
But we got on the wrong ridge. I'm like, whatever.
Going down was fine. Going up the other side, I'm like, dude, just cooking in the sun. I mean, anyways, we finally get down to the bottom, okay? We get down to the bottom, start working the creek down.
Beautiful creek bottom.
Beautiful.
Beautiful
Yeah, absolutely. Start working the creek down, and we go for like, I don't know, 400 yards,
Dude, we
500.
walk a long ways.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of turkey sign down there. We found some gobbler tracks in a sandbar.
Yep.
And then I found a gobbler turd right in the middle of the creek bed, and on a little gravel bar. And we were just easing down there. And what we were trying to get to was where a couple of those little drainages come together, basically a thermal hub, like all the way in the bottom, like not in a little like branch or drainage, but we're like in the creek bottom. Like it's a pretty big creek.
Yeah.
And there's little pools that we were like, if we kill a turkey, I'm going to get in one of these little pools in the creek and just chill out for a minute because it got hot. And we were just easing down there. And, dude, when you're down there, you're like boxed in. It's not a canyon, but it kind of feels like you're in a canyon. And we eased down there for a long ways just trying to get to that little bottom. And at this point, it's like 11:45. And I walked up to Kyle. I'm like, hey, how far are we from the spot? Because I'm thinking we're going to get there, we're going to set up, and we're going to call and just sit there until the cutoff, which is 1 o'clock. And I was like, hey, we need to get up there because, like, we need at least an hour. Like, I would like at least an hour to sit and just give it time to work. And we finally get up to the edge of this little thermal hub thing. And the cool thing about these creeks is it'll go for a little ways, then it just makes a little turn, and you can't see around that turn. So there's, like, all these little angles.
Blind corners.
Yeah, blind corners. You can walk up and like peek up there, and we were peeking and looking through the binos just to see if there was something way out ahead of us.
Yep.
Well, we get to the spot that we're trying to get to, and like I said, we walked way in there. We haven't made a call yet, nothing. Because up to this point, like I said, we've been walking and calling, and didn't make any calls or anything at this point. And we get right there, and we're standing by the creek, waiting on Jacob to catch up. And Kyle's like, listen, we need to get a little bit further to get away from this noise because there's a little waterfall in the creek right there. And he's like, let's just get to where, we can't hear that as loud. And we take 3 more steps, and a bird hammers
Just
50 yards in front of us.
Just
at nothing.
walking.
Like, he couldn't hear us walking. We were walking in dirt
Oh,
because all the rain, like, there was a bunch of washouts in there.
Yeah.
And so it was dead silent. And, dude, this bird hammers. And he's like 60, maybe 60. Like, so close that I didn't even hear the gobble as much as I heard, like, when they gobble real close, you hear that, like, in their chest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard
rattle.
that. Like the rattle in their chest. Dude, Kyle, hits the deck like freaking machine gun fire opened up. I mean, on his face instantly.
Dude, he's on the side of the side of the embankment going up the ridge, and he just lays in the leaves, and he's like, "Get down,
dude!" And he turns to Jacob, and Jacob didn't hear the gobble.
No, never heard the gobble.
Because you were right by the water?
I don't know. I just never heard the gobble. I walk up, and all of a sudden they're freaking out, and they're like, "Sorry, there's a turkey." I thought Kyle saw the turkey around the corner. I'm like, well, that's not good if you saw the turkey, because the turkey definitely saw him. So they're like, "Hey, there's a gobble right here." I'm like, "Okay," and like Kyle literally dives.
You were still like chilled, like whatever.
Yeah, Jacob just stood there. We hit the deck, and we turned around, and Jacob's like, he's standing there.
No, I'm taking my vest off. I'm like, okay, if we're doing
Like, what are you doing? Like, dude, like Kyle just instantly eats dirt, and Jacob's like, "Let me take my vest off first."
Yeah, I was getting out of the vest. But Kyle is face in the leaves, like laying down, like sprawled out. He's like, "Get low!"
Like so much so that after we got up, there's like a bare spot from where he hit the ground so hard he like pushed all the leaves out.
Yeah, Doe
buried in the ground.
Andrew backs up, gets on a tree next to the creek, and
I crouch and run.
And Kyle's like, "Just grab this tree right here. There's a tree right in front of me, little tree." I sat on that tree, and I ended up just like kneeling down, like next to the tree, because like I'm on the bottom side of this little point that goes up. And I'm like, I need to sit up a little bit so I can see. So I'm like kneeling there up against the tree. Kyle's like, "Hey, you good?" I'm like throwing my face mask on, getting my stuff all situated. He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah." So he started calling, and he just yelped at this turkey. He's like, "Yeah," and it pow!
Oh, instant.
And I'm like,
in gun range. Like this turkey is right there. And
well, Andrew's definition of gun range is further than my definition of gun range, but inside his guns,
he's 50 yards.
Like you feel him when he gobbles.
Like he is 50 yards.
You hear, yeah, he's around that little point that we dove on. So he gobbles, and Kyle's like, gives a second. He calls again, cuts him off again, and like at one point he gobbles, and he was like it sounded like around the point, and then all of a sudden it sounded like he was down on the bottom. And he's like, he's down the bottom. He's like shift down there. So like I'm like looking down there, and then I was like waiting, nothing happened. And when he gobbled the second or third time down the bottom, I ended up just sitting down, get my knee propped up to get like real stable, because I'm like, it's probably gonna be like a 40-yard shot on this little high spot. So I'm like just sitting there on the gun, and then Kyle just stops calling. I don't think he called after that.
Calling.
And he didn't gobble again. But you could like listen, and all of a sudden Kyle's like 3 yards to my right here, laying face down. But he's like
literally, he's got his hands in front of him.
Yeah, like dude, he's got his glove, and he's like doing this, like
Kyle's the real deal. I didn't go home with that.
Dude,
Kyle's legit.
Yeah. So he's like, I start hearing something. He's like, he's drumming. Do you hear it? I'm like, yeah. And like you could hear the, and I'm like, okay.
I could hear him walking too.
Well, see, I couldn't hear him walking all that great at that point until he got closer. But I'm sitting there, and I keep hearing drumming, boom, and he's getting louder and louder. And at one point, he's like, I think he's coming up above us, because Kyle could hear the footsteps, started hearing footsteps, and you hear the drumming. It sounded like it was coming up above us instead of like side hill. Yeah. And I'm like, get the gun. I'm like, dude, he pops up, he's going to be inside 25 yards. Like just the way the roll of the ridge is, like he's going to be like right there. So I like move the gun over a little bit, and I was like, you see him? Do you see him? He's like, no, but he's right there. And I'm like, okay. And by the way, when I sit down, there's like a hickory tree in front of me. It's probably, I don't know, 12, 14 inches wide. And in front of that's a beech tree, about the same diameter, kind of like directly in front of me at like probably 8 yards. And I'm like, I hope he doesn't come in from behind those trees. I could see to the right, perfect. I could see to the left, perfect. It's just right there. And I'm like, hopefully he comes not behind those trees. Well, I'm sitting there, and I literally at this point, like I'm hearing him. I'm like, I'm just holding it right on the tree. So like when he pops out one side or the other, all I gotta do is just barely move the gun. I can shoot him. And that's what I do. I'm sitting on that tree, looking at that tree, kind of getting the gun situated. And then all of a sudden, you just hear the footsteps and the drums get louder and louder. And all of a sudden, I just see like a head, like kind of like the top of the head, like kind of shift behind the tree. I'm like, oh crap. And I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden, he pops out on the left side. And when he pops on the left side, I see his head kind of stick out behind the tree. And he's 15 yards. And then his whole body comes out. And when his head pops out, I'm like, I can't shoot him right there. I need I'm going to smoke this tree if I shoot him right there. Second his whole body comes out, I just like move the gun like that, get on him. And the second I do that, I see him for 3 seconds probably. He goes, pop, 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 and he goes to turn to walk away. like just go right back, like over this little lip. And when he does that, I freaking lean and shoot. Wing goes up, and I don't even get stood up, and that sucker's airborne. Gone.
Dang.
Gone like a herd of turtles.
And I looked in front of me, and there's a little sapling, about the size of your pinky maybe, that I just sawed in half right in front of me. And I'm like, how did I miss that? I mean, I hit the sapling, but I'm like, how did I miss that turkey?
You think something would have hit him?
Yeah.
Well, he was standing right next to this little dead log sticking up, and there was a couple pellets in that. And by a couple, I mean like maybe 5. And the turkey was right there.
Yeah.
And dude, I could see the turkey like we just watched the video. I could see him for a good 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And you couldn't really hear it on the video because we got a microphone on top of the camera that's like directional, and I'm behind the camera, so you can't hear me talk as much. But it could, I see his head come up, and I'm like, kill him. Because, dude, I'm watching this turkey forever, and I'm like, and I like look at the turkey, I look at Jacob, I look at the turkey, look at Jacob, and Jacob, I'm like, I don't think he sees the turkey. And I don't think Kyle could see it either. But so when it gobbled, I ran like 12 yards back, and I sat like there's this one little tree on the creek bank, and I sat up against that tree. Yeah. And dude, it was perfect. I could have smoked that turkey.
Looking back, would you have moved back though, or
I probably would have stayed on my knees. Because if I stayed on my knees, I could have seen him instead of 15 yards, I probably could see him at 25-ish. And had maybe a better opportunity. Either that or get closer to the creek, so I'm like off the edge of the ridge, so I can see higher up on the ridge.
Because I will say, from like the angle that I've saw so far, that hill was like a very sharp or like
it went up and then
went straight
straight back down on that point of that little ridge.
Yeah, like it was a bad setup, just because of like he was coming in right above us and he was looking down at us, which you kind of never want.
Yeah.
But what I was, we were sitting there after he missed and we were looking around. It's like, well, we could have gotten on that tree. We could have done this, could have done that. And I was like, at the end of the day, I don't think we really did anything wrong except miss, or shoot a sapling. And that kind of just happens.
Yeah.
But it's like, at the end of the day, we walked in there. We just got really lucky that he happened to gobble right before we popped up on top of him.
Yeah.
And then when we set up and called, he walked into 15 yards, presented a shot, like you can't ask for much more.
Yeah.
And just shot a sapling.
But
I think that's what it was, dude. Because that sapling, I didn't realize he'd shot that till we watched the footage back.
Yeah, he didn't believe me. He's like, you didn't shoot no sapling. I'm like, dude, it disintegrated in front of my eyes. And when you watch the video, you see it get chopped down, and then you also see that dead log that he had stepped over. It just I saw part of it just blows up.
Yeah.
I think that sapling being right there in front of him. It was like 3 or 4 feet off the gun barrel.
Yeah, it's
dude, that pad. you're shooting tight. That your shot hadn't even broke up yet, dude. I bet that just ate that shot, and that's what screwed it up.
I don't know. It was terrible because that is the worst miss I've ever had. I've missed some birds. That is the worst miss. Turkey dead to rights inside 20 yards. And it just flies away. I literally, when that happened, I said some choice words on the video, threw my hat down, had a little hissy fit, which is not like me. And
you guys are gonna have to make some kind of little trophy or something that you get, and you pass it back and forth on whoever, if you miss a deer or if you miss a turkey.
I don't want the trophy.
That's a great idea.
And whoever has it has to do something. I don't know, something.
That is a great idea. We need to do that.
Yeah.
If there's any listeners out there who
makes trophies
or something, that'd be.
But it wouldn't be called a trophy though, for sure. It would be something else.
Yeah, and you have to put it on your mantle in your house or something.
It has to ride on your dashboard, so you see it every day.
Yeah, but dude, I'm telling you, I still haven't got over it. I'm just kind of walking back through everything because he stepped up behind the tree. I'm like, maybe I hit the tree. I didn't hit the tree. Looked at there's I don't think I saw any pellets.
I looked at every tree because that's what I was thinking at first, because that's happened to me before where I kind of had to lean out from behind a tree and I just blew the side off the tree. And I looked at every one of those trees and I couldn't find a pellet hole. And the only pellet holes I found were in that log that he was standing right next to. And again, it was just a couple. And I'm like, from where the turkey was standing, because we had Jacob sit where he was sitting and I stood where the turkey was. And I was like, you just had to pull it. Like, that's the only explanation, because there's just a couple pellets. I'm like, this must have been just the edge of the pattern hit this, because there's like 6 pellets in it, maybe.
Yeah.
And the turkey was like right there. I'm like, you must have just.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Now that I know he hit the sapling, I bet the sapling had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, because I mean, the sapling was between you to me. I mean,
Yeah.
5 feet from me probably, which I knew. Like when he stepped out, I'm like, I've like it's just in my way. Like there's nothing I can do about it. Like I'm like I think just see if I can punch through it. And absolutely not.
Yeah, I guess the only thing we could have done different was like when he gobbled on his own. Like we freaked out so much right then because he was, I mean, right on top of us. If you'd have popped over again, you could have shot him probably. He was right there,
Yeah.
and we hadn't called to him. He gobbled on his own.
See, I probably should have got where Kyle was.
Well, no, you should have got where I was.
Well, he didn't know you were there though, so you.
Well, that's
could've
what
backed.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is like he didn't know we were there. We could have just stopped and been like, "What should we do?" Because he's right here over this lip, and like I said, where I backed up to, I mean, you could have. It was perfect because he came up and he was looking, and when you very first saw his head, like I could have shot him right there, and then he came even further out in the open, and I mean, just gave me like a perfect shot from back there. Yeah. And there was just a little bit of stuff. There's like a buckeye plant in the way that he was kind of looking through. That I mean, it would have set up much better. Like we should have done. That's what we did with the bird that Kyle killed.
Yeah, we backed up.
We backed up a little bit.
You get a better angle for the shot.
Yeah, well, hindsight's 20/20.
So that's 2 I missed so far this season, which is the same I did last year.
0 for 2, baby.
So hopefully get my misses done early, and
I know
then
it's
get back
looking
on the straight and narrow.
exactly like last year. Andrew probably killed bird whenever his eyes heal, and then you'll wait till the last 2 weeks.
Hey, I'll say this. This early season has actually been really good as far as just turkey encounters, because opening day, I guess we haven't talked about opening day, have we? Yeah, I think we talked about it last week, maybe. Did we? I can't remember.
Last week was Florida.
Okay. Opening day in Alabama, I had one goblin, and his hens flew down with him, and they left him, and he was like, I eased down there to try to cut them off, and I saw some turkeys that the hens called at me, and I saw them like 75 yards further down the hill from me, and they swung around me and went off the property, and I saw 2 turkeys go through a gap, and I only could tell what the second one was, and it was a hen, and I was like, well, crap, that was probably him and the hen. And they got off the property, and I was like, well, they like to roost over here, so maybe they'll kind of drift back. So I was just going to sit there all morning. And it was like, I can't remember what time now. It was like 10 o'clock or something. I mean, I sat there for like 2.5 hours, and he gobbled like 40 yards to my left. I had no idea that he was there. And again, same thing. I mean, just hammered, like right next to me. Hear the rattle. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's right there. And I was wearing my glasses because that was right before I got the surgery, and they don't want you to wear your contact lenses for a couple days. And I couldn't see anything out of the left corner. Like I couldn't see because I don't have peripheral vision when I was wearing my glasses. And I ended up getting busted by him trying to like get turned and look. And then the second day of the season, I had one goblin off the property, and I kind of worked him a little bit, but he never got super close. And then the next day I hunted was when the gobbler ran past me and Jacob. Yep. And then today with all those encounters. So I'm like, this turkey season's actually been really good so far, as far as just having encounters and close calls.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how the rest of April goes. Because this is usually like the toughest time of year for me. Like real early is usually really tough. So it's going good. It's going good. I got a couple misses, but
Just
hey.
keep it up, Jacob. You're going to get there.
Well, don't keep up the misses.
Yeah. Just keep going out. You're hit one. Enough.
Just keep shooting, buddy.
Just keep shooting.
He said he's going to go check his gun. I don't think the gun's
No,
off.
I don't think the gun's off.
I don't think the gun. I mean, you can check it.
But just for a sanity check, I do, because it would suck if I don't check it. I miss like 2 or 3 more birds, and I find out the pattern's like 8 inches off, like to the right or left,
Oh my gosh.
or it's shooting super low or something. That would be
I'm
terrible.
telling you, your gun is. I had so much confidence with it last year. I could almost like close my eyes and shoot, and it just felt like it was going to hit him.
Oh man.
Heat-seeking TSS.
Yeah,
Let's
dude.
go.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, dude. Well, it's been a fun season so far. This is why I like turkey hunting, man. It's just like I said earlier. It's just straight fun. Like we got to walk around today. We got to see a lot of really neat woods. Got to see a bunch of deer yesterday. It's been a really eventful couple days in the woods.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a nice break after deer season. Like, because we talked about it before, but like deer hunting to me is like more rewarding when I shoot a big buck, but it's more fun when I shoot a turkey. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just have like it's just fun.
It is. It's not that it's stressful at all doing either deer or turkey, but it just feels like you're out there, like, I don't know,
Yeah.
doing whatever you want to do.
Hunting like a bobcat.
That's right.
Well,
Slipping around in the woods.
that's how I hunt.
Now you sit there and just
No, we
you
slip.
deer hunt turkey.
No,
Just grunt every hour. It's just soft purring every hour and just sits there. Might as well put a pop-up blind out there and just wait.
Yeah, he's pretty low key.
He is.
Low key in the
hey,
woods.
listen. I don't want them to know I'm there until I'm calling. If I know they're in the general area, I'm hanging with them as long.
I
as
still do that in certain areas. Like if I know that there's turkeys, I will lock down like that. But
Andrew don't have the patience.
It
no,
is
I have
hard.
the patience. I
it's
definitely have the patience. But one thing I've noticed about Jacob is he doesn't like to call it hens, like at all.
Call what?
Call it hens. Like if you hear a hen, he doesn't like to call at them. I'm
What are you
like,
talking about? That was one hunt. What are you talking
I'm
about?
like, dude,
I thought it was a dude. I'm like, why am I going to call it the dude?
dude, if I hear a hen, I'm calling as much as she will call back at me.
Yeah.
I'm
We
like,
did that. That's how he killed 2 of his birds. Had to call the hens in. Gobbler wouldn't come.
That's true.
It's like, get the hens to come in. Freaking gobbler fall right behind them. So, I don't know. We'll see. Trying to think. Got any other updates?
No, man, just more turkey hunting. Appreciate everyone who's been watching all our Monday interviews. Those have been great.
Oh, Mondays is going to be an absolute banger. Banger. Don't want to miss it. Can't tell you.
Oh.
I'll tell you after the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy.
But it's going to be a good one.
Yep.
So,
Anyway,
anyway.
I'll get to hit the woods next week with a gun. Hey, I'm curious if anybody out there has had LASIK surgery. How long did you wait before you shot a gun? Because I'm not gonna. I was shooting a Mossberg 835 with 3.5-inch shells because I don't know why.
Yep.
12 gauge.
Just to do it.
I'm talking about like if there's a pine tree between you and that turkey, like that's why I've been like shooting it for so one because I didn't want to buy another gun, but 2 because some of that brush that you shoot through, I mean like that stuff that you shot through, I just like having that extra payload and like just to get through some stuff.
Trust me, there's times I'm like, I kind of want to go back to a 12 gauge.
I mean it's nice,
But-
it freaking
and-
it's punishment to shoot. But it's not a big deal shooting at a turkey.
Yeah.
But like patterning it and stuff is not fun.
Just toughen up, Buttercup. Lord.
Put it in one of those gun holders.
Yeah.
Lead sled.
He got the lead sled on. No, but like Kyle's got an interesting gun. He's got that Browning A5 that
Beautiful.
His modified choke got rusted into, and he couldn't take the choke out. And he's been hunting with a modified choke for like 6 years now,
Dang.
and kills the fire out of him with a modified choke.
Well, like if you're shooting TSS, man, I actually see the benefit in that because, I mean, how many turkeys? Oh, we don't ever shoot turkeys really that are that far away.
Well, you keep talking 50, 60 yards. I don't want to shoot 150 yards.
When did I talk 50, 60 yards?
Oh, you said 50 earlier. You're like inside gunnery is like 50, 60 yards.
Oh yeah, 50 yards all day. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Well, but most of the turkeys I shoot are not 50. But I like having I don't really shoot the TSS to shoot them that far because, like, dude, especially where we're hunting these past couple days, if you're sitting where you can see 100 yards, like, you're probably not going to get a chance at the turkey. Just because of how you're setting up, like, he's not going to come in. And so it's like most of the time you're shooting at him between, like, 30 and 40 maybe.
Yeah.
But, you want that insurance policy in case you misjudge it a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know what you're talking
Your
about.
fourth bird, we can see him from a long ways away.
Yeah, but there was enough.
I know.
There's enough
You
in-
got that hen to come in, but dude, we saw him at a $125 probably with his hen. Called that hen all the way up to, I don't know, 20 yards, and he followed right behind her. Took him a while, but he came in. But yeah, no, that's a good point.
yeah. So I did finally get me a new turkey gun. Got me a 20 gauge. So
Join the 20 gauge gang.
yep, join the 20 gauge club. Cannot wait. Cannot
It's a
wait to
sweet
hit
gun.
the woods.
It is
Cannot
a
wait
sweet
to
gun.
hit the woods with that gun. So
But yeah, I'll tell people what it is just so.
I got a Benelli ultralight, the Montefeltro ultralight, and I don't know how long the barrel is on it. To be honest with you, I didn't do much research. I just went to the gun store and was like looking at them, and it caught my eye because it was a little bit shorter than the other ones, and it had a freaking beautiful pattern on the stock. And I was like, "Can I see that one right there?" He handed it to me, and I mean, it is light. It is so light, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I need this. I need this gun in my life." So yeah, that's gonna be. I have been hunting with a not for turkey, but for everything else, pretty much a Remington 1100 that belonged to my dad. My grandfather bought it in the, I think, late 70s, and it's like a beautiful gun, awesome gun. It's like an extension of my body, but it's pretty heavy. And then also last year, Tiffany dropped it in our
Throw it
kitchen.
under the bus.
Yeah, I'm throwing her under the bus. Tiffany dropped it on our tile floor, like butt down, and the end of the buttstock, like just a little piece of it, chipped off. And I got it, glued it back on, and like I said, this is like an heirloom. This is passed down to me. Hunted with it my whole life. Dad hunted with it his whole life. And so I glued it back on, but I'm afraid that is going to fly off, like if I'm out doing a bunch of shooting, and I'm going to lose it, and I don't want to replace the stock on it. So I was like, I just put, like, if I take it out now, I'll put like a piece of tape over it, just to be sure, and I really baby it. So I was like, I just do need to get a different gun. This is like my gun anyways. And so now it's going to be my everything gun.
I still can't believe you ain't trying to turkey hunt and kill one with your side-by-side.
No, absolutely not, dude. I dislike that gun. I got a 12 gauge. It's a CZ Bob White, which is a double barrel side by side. I call it Elmer, and that's like, dude. I do like having a break action gun for hunting with dogs, just because they're so much safer. So a lot of guys get shot by dogs when they set their gun down. The dog steps on it. And if you're hunting with that, like, it can be kind of chaotic. So you just bust it open, crack it open and set it on the ground. It can't go off. So I do like that. So I got that Bob White. And, it's a good-looking gun, and it's a functional gun, but it's not so nice that you, like it wouldn't hurt my feelings to paddle a boat with it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I like it, but it's really heavy, and it kicks like a mule. And again, I just I don't know. I don't like it.
Andrew's recoil sensitive, as we've learned on this episode.
He doesn't have any heavy recoiling guns
I've got a 338 Win Mag.
that you don't hunt with.
That's true.
It's a safe queen.
That's-
Ain't seen the outside of a safe in 6 years.
Hey, I just got the safe open. I saw it. I was like, I kind of forgot I had that in there.
Oh my gosh. That's what I'm saying, bro. It's the safe queen.
Hey,
He's like, I have a 370 H&H at the house.
No, I sold that to Michael Perry. I didn't want to shoot that. I was good on that. I'm super
See,
good.
why are you talking smack about recoil?
Well, I'm not going to Africa to hunt dangerous game.
Well, why'd you buy it? Because he wanted to shoot a whitetail with it, then
No,
he chickened out. That's what it was,
No,
bro.
it was a couple too many drinks while getting on gunbroker.com, and I was like, this is a pretty good deal, and I freaking want it.
You're like, I wonder what that'll do to a whitetail.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Dang.
Yeah, so anyways, I don't like that gun that's a utility gun only.
So
And I've been wanting to shoot a 20 gauge for a long time. I just haven't, like for turkeys, I just haven't bought one till now. So finally in the 20 gauge club.
It's a sweet gun. As soon as I picked it up, I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's
Because it does feel lighter than mine and yours.
Yeah, for sure.
And mine's light as crap.
Yeah, yours and mine are both 5.5, and his is 5 1/4. But it's noticeable.
yeah, I'm excited to get it out, mess with it.
Yep.
So
Sweet.
cool, boys.
Awesome. Appreciate everybody watching the podcast. Thank y'all for listening. Little banter, turkey hunting banter here, but we got a lot of other great episodes coming up. Again, you do not, if you've been enjoying the Monday episodes, you are not going to want to miss this coming Monday's episode. Just going to put it out there right now. But other than that, catch y'all back here on the next episode from the Southern Outdoorsman podcast. And remember, y'all stay Southern.